Right, all right. Now, we have to get into what is really going on and what could be the true determining factor into who wins.
The pressure cooker that is the Cleveland Browns training camp has reached a boiling point, and at the center of this storm is a power struggle that could redefine the franchise's trajectory for the next decade. For years, the narrative in Cleveland has been one of desperation and the search for a savior, a search that seemingly ended when they invested $250 million into Deshaun Watson. However, the atmosphere has shifted dramatically with the arrival of Shedeur Sanders and the growing concerns regarding Watson's physical durability. We are no longer just talking about a veteran mentor guiding a young apprentice. We are witnessing a cold, calculated battle of attrition where every missed snap and every report of physical limitation is being used to build the case for a changing of the guard. The world of the NFL is notoriously unsympathetic to past glory, and in Cleveland, the grace period for Watson is rapidly expiring as the shadow of Shedeur Sanders grows larger with every passing practice. Recent reports from high-profile insiders like Mary Kay have sent shockwaves through the fanbase, highlighting an issue that many feared but few wanted to acknowledge. Watson's surgically repaired shoulder is showing signs of fatigue. In the elite world of professional football, fatigue is often a polite euphemism for a body that is struggling to keep up with the demands of.
And, that was her opinion on what it was with Deshaun Watson's shoulder. And maybe he was a little inconsistent at the end of camp because of some speculation with some fatigue.
The position. When a quarterback whose game relies on velocity and precision begins to experience inconsistency at the end of camp, it raises a red flag that no amount of veteran experience can ignore. This isn't just about one bad throw or a tired arm, it's about the cumulative impact of multiple major surgeries and years of inactivity. For the Cleveland Browns, who have built a roster designed to win right now, the prospect of a franchise quarterback who cannot endure a full training camp without tailing off is a nightmare scenario that demands a contingency plan, and that plan has a name and a face that the fans are already beginning to embrace. The sports analyst G. Bush recently brought a profound perspective to this dilemma, drawing from the fundamental truth that the best ability in the NFL is availability. He shared a raw, personal anecdote from his own playing days, reminding us that
ACL in both knees, neck surgery, back surgery, calf surgery, toe surgery, all the surgeries that I've had, even scopes and different things like that. The thing that people are misrepresenting, and here's a reason why. Just on the surface, when they talked about the quarterback battle, I don't think people really took the time and consideration necessary to talk about what it is and actually the thought process of what it.
Sports history is rarely written by the most talented players, but rather by the ones who are standing when everyone else has fallen. He recounted how he, a player who lacked the initial prestige or cachet, became a two-way starter and a state champion simply because the person in front of him got injured. This is the brutal reality of the quarterback position. It only takes one moment, one injury.
Watson as the starter within the first two mini-camp practices. It was ridiculous. Now we're seeing other things come out. Deshaun Watson, arm issues, maybe not recovering, maybe having some problems from the shoulder surgery, etc. G. Bush stepped in.
Or one period of maintenance for the door to swing open for the next man up. In Cleveland, that next man isn't just a backup, he is a generational talent who is physically at his peak, mentally hungry, and completely synchronized with the modern game's demands. Shedeur Sanders doesn't need to be better than Watson in every single drill, he just needs to be
in the front office that said, okay, we want to see what this guy can do, which gave him a runway to be the starting quarterback the rest of the year. Understand this.
There every single day while Watson is in the training room. The strategic implications of Watson's shoulder fatigue are devastating when you consider how reps are distributed in an NFL camp. Every time Deshaun Watson has to take a veteran day off or sit out a quarter of a practice to manage his recovery, those precious opportunities don't just disappear, they are funneled directly to Shedeur Sanders.
Being your best ability is your availability. I didn't start playing in high school until my junior year, 1 week before we played our first game. And the reason I got to play, and I wasn't starting anyways, I started.
Unlike traditional backup situations where reps might be split among several players, the Browns' current hierarchy ensures that Shedeur is the primary beneficiary of Watson's downtime. This creates a dangerous feedback loop for the veteran. While Watson is managing his health, Sanders is building chemistry with the starting receivers, mastering the playbook in real time, and proving to the coaching staff and the front office that the offense can move efficiently under his leadership. The edge that Watson supposedly holds
is improvement. I watched tape of him working on his throwing release. And the thing that always, and I've been on both sides of the spectrum, so I'm not knocking Deshaun. I've been in a position where I was the senior coming in, and there was another dude that,
due to his years in the league, evaporates quickly when he isn't on the field to demonstrate it, leaving a void that Sanders is more than happy to fill with high-octane performance and youthful energy. When we look at the physical profiles of these two athletes, the contrast becomes even more stark and concerning for the Watson camp. Shedeur Sanders is younger, he is in arguably the best shape of his career, and most importantly, he hasn't been battered by the same history of catastrophic injuries that Watson has endured. We are talking about a veteran who has dealt with
whether or not they can stay healthy in practice and scrimmages, and we're not even talking about the games. So what Todd Monken did was, I want Shedeur Sanders to catch up. I want to create the energy. I want to create the energy that Shedeur Sanders is behind Deshaun.
Achilles tears, ACL ruptures, and now a complex shoulder issue that seems to be lingering. In a battle of attrition, the younger, fresher body will almost always prevail over the long term. Sanders isn't running home after practice to manage his recovery, he is in the film room, he is in the gym, and he is preparing for a 2026 battle that he believes he has already won. His pro mindset was developed under the intense scrutiny of his father's pro.
If he's going to play like that, we got to play. You know what was crazy after that happened, right? The next day, a guard in front of me
program at Colorado, and he is bringing that same relentless intensity to Cleveland, creating an environment where Watson's maintenance days look more like a slow retreat from the inevitable. The psychological aspect of this quarterback battle is perhaps the most underrated factor. For a team like the Cleveland Browns, the front office and ownership need to see a return on their massive investment, but they also have a responsibility to the other 52 men on the roster who are giving their bodies to the game.
Hit that bell notification, hype the video. That'd be greatly appreciated. We got to get into things, man. Now, there has been much conversation about this QB1 battle. In the beginning, it was, give the job to Deshaun Watson after 2 practices in T-shirts and socks. That was always idiotic to anybody but Shedeur Mafia.
If the locker room begins to sense that the offense is more dynamic and more consistent under Sanders, the pressure on Kevin Stefanski to make a move will become insurmountable. G. Bush pointed out that coaches like Todd Monken are paid to find the most effective way to move the ball, and they have no loyalty to a contract if the player holding it can't perform. The best way to eliminate a veteran from the conversation is to let them eliminate themselves through injury and lack of availability. If Watson continues to struggle with fatigue before the regular season even begins, the narrative will shift from when will Watson return to form, to how soon can Shedeur Sanders take over. This is the reality of the NFL.
And the reason why a lot of people talked about this quarterback competition and said, hey, we want to give a position to somebody quickly, was foolhardy and it was not well thought out, is because you guys got to understand, Todd Monken is going to go into these situations and tell yourself, I want to see it. The best way to eliminate somebody is to let them eliminate themselves.
It is a league of results, and results require a player who can stay on the field. Ultimately, the story of the Cleveland Browns quarterback situation is a cautionary tale about the fragility of success and the ruthlessness of professional sports. Deshaun Watson is fighting a war against his own body, trying to recapture a version of himself that might no longer exist, while Shedeur Sanders is simply waiting for the clock to run out on the old era. The battle of attrition is a slow and painful process for the veteran, but for the rising star, it is a runway to greatness. As we move closer to the 2026 season, every update about Watson's shoulder and every highlight reel of Sanders in practice will be analyzed as a sign of things to come. The fans in Cleveland are tired of waiting for a savior who is constantly in the training room. They want a leader who is ready to lead right now. Whether Watson can defy the odds in his own medical history remains to be seen, but one thing is certain, Shedeur Sanders is ready, he is available, and in the NFL, that is often more than enough to win the job. The transition might be closer than anyone in the Browns front office is willing to admit, and the 2026 season could very well be the beginning of the Shedeur Sanders era in Cleveland.